So our first belief, we've got to focus. Second, have high expectations. High expectations. I want to tell you about a little boy named Tony. He was a little blind kid, and a dear friend of mine, Dr. Frederick Schroeder, a brilliant man, worked with blind children. And Dr. Schroeder would say that he probably, more than anyone on this planet, had high expectations for blind people and what they could achieve. He was very successful and just had very high expectations for people. And he worked with this little boy, Tony, and Tony came to him and he said, at the time his name was Mr. Schroeder, I want to play tag. I guess you guys have tag in Lithuania, right? Yes? Don't nod your heads, I will not see you. Yes? Okay, you have tag. This little boy who was blind wanted to play tag. And Mr. Schroeder, Dr. Schroeder, went home and he thought about this and he's like, how can a little blind boy play tag? Is that even possible? What do you think most adults would say? No. I mean, how is a blind kid going to play tag, right? It's not possible. He went back the next day, and before he could share his decision that on this one occasion, Tony was going to have to sit out. Tony was not going to be able to engage. Tony came up to Dr. Schroeder, and he said, I've got the best news. I figured it out. Because, right, aren't kids like that? They don't have this thing if it can't be done. And he had figured out if he had taken little jars, glass jars, and put pebbles in them and gave those to his friends, and they'd shake them while they were running, and they kind of had a safe place where he could run, that he could find his friends and play tag like everyone else. Really easy, low-tech solution. What Tony did, which I think is so important, is he asked how it can be done, not if. When we go into designing problems and solutions, the wonderful thing I love about constraints management, TOC, is that it starts with the belief and the assumption that anything is possible. With the right thinking, with the right amount of work, with the right kind of logic, we can break difficult conflicts, we can find solutions, we can look at root causes, we can have huge improvements in our systems. But we ourselves, not intellectually, but in our hearts, have to always believe that it's how something can be done and not if. Too many times in government, I'll hear people say, yeah, I would do it if I had more money, if my staff weren't so difficult, if I had more supportive leadership, then I would do it. When we start going that direction, if things were different, then I would make a change, we need to check ourselves. Because we're probably becoming too skeptical, and we're probably putting a lot of self-imposed limits on what's really possible. So the challenge that we have internally and that we really try to embrace in our agency, it's never if it can be done, but it's always how. We just have to figure it out.